Good evening. My name is Michelle Fox, and I would like to welcome you to the Heart of Genetic Counseling Award tonight in person, and welcome all of you out there in the virtual world. It's so wonderful to be back here in person, and I welcome each and every one of you to a very exciting evening that we have ahead. It's wonderful to see so many people, and we're honored to be with you again to celebrate genetic counseling through the eyes of our patients. I'd like to thank our partner, NSGC, for their continued support of the program, which is now in its 7th year. We're grateful for your support and partnership. I have had the privilege of being involved with the Heart of Genetic Counseling Awards since its inception. It is through our care, support, and going the extra mile that leads our patients and families to take the time to nominate this outstanding group of genetic counselors. The testimonies are multiplied by the hundreds each day. We appreciate the NSGC partnership that makes this evening possible. The Heart of Genetic Counseling Award recognizes and celebrates the essence of genetic counseling, the critical role we play as trusted advisors and sources of tremendous support and guidance during the hardest times. Tonight, we will hear stories about the impact of genetic counselors from those who know them best, their patients. But before we honor this year's genetic counselor nominees, who are tremendous and inspirational, I want to acknowledge all genetic counselors for their critical work and staunch dedication to both their patients and to advancing and furthering the impact of genetic information. I'd like to take a moment to thank our team of outstanding judges who worked together to choose the finalist and winner this year, which was certainly not an easy job. This group included last year's winner and finalists, Pilar Magulas, Priscilla Carrion, and Ami Haas. Thank you very much. I would also like to express my gratitude to Heather Zierhut, Ashwarya Ajanan, Shrestha Madan Garg, who wrote personal essays this year for this year's commemorative book. I know you will enjoy reading about their perspectives and experiences. Now, I'd like to start this evening festivities by introducing Heather Zierhut, who needs really no introduction, the current NSGC president, who is the director of the University of Minnesota Genetic Counseling Program, an associate professor in the Department of Genetics, Cell Biology, and Development at the university. She is a staunch patient advocate and a passionate, effective leader. Heather's contribution to our field through her leadership and research initiatives are exemplary. I had the privilege of serving on the board of directors with Heather and always appreciated her insights and most especially her rapping expertise. Welcome, Heather.
Michelle was kind of my backup. She was like my hype girl. Thank you so much, Michelle. Good evening. I'd like to thank Invitae for co-sponsoring this year's Heart of Genetic Counseling Award with NSGC. It's so wonderful to see you all in the audience and to meet some new friends tonight. As genetic counselors, we are trained in the evolving science of genetics, and this is paired with the art of the patient experience. An art, maybe even a dance, practiced through carefully chosen communication and understanding. The art of genetic counseling creates the heart of the genetic counseling experience. It's a dance that can and does change lives, one person or one family at a time. The impact that is so clearly demonstrated through each of these nominations tonight. To the genetic counselors being honored, I think you guys are all about right over here, maybe. You embody this art, and I know I will be moved by your stories and the dance that you do. To everyone else here at this celebration, let's congratulate these amazing genetic counselors. Let's honor the unique role that genetic counselors play in healthcare, and may we all be the heart of someone's experience. Again, NSGC is so grateful for Invitae for co-sponsoring this award with us and celebrating the contributions of genetic counselors. Michelle, it's back to you.
I want to officially announce and congratulate all of the genetic counselors who were nominated this year. For those of you who are here with us tonight, please stand. Allison Britt, Miriam Bunch, Lindsay Byrne, Katie Grand, Amy Kunz, Katie Lang, Rochelle Manukian, Chinmay Baramo Nagaraj, Monisha Sebastian, Samantha Stover, Nancy Petroselli Walden, Vicki Vincent, and Julianne Wojak. Leah Zareski. Please give these dedicated genetic professionals a round of huge applause. You'll be able to read the full stories in the commemorative book we put together. I want to give a special shout out to nominee Vicki Vincent, who just retired. Vicki, congratulations on a wonderful career. I'm thrilled you were able to that we were able to hear about your impact firsthand tonight. Thank you. To give you a taste of just how special these genetic counselors are, I want to share this video compilation of the patients who nominated them.
The Heart of Genetic Counseling Award singles out genetic counselors for their ability to seamlessly share complex science while building deep, meaningful relationships with their patients. And those honored tonight are by no means alone. We know there are endless others who experience this deep connection, important insight, and support from their genetic counselor. I wish I could be there with you tonight to celebrate this important work that you do and to highlight the critical role that genetic counselors play in the care of their patients and families. I'd like to congratulate each of you. It's a great honor to have been nominated by a patient, and that a patient was so deeply moved and felt so well cared for that they chose to nominate you. It's a tremendous compliment and a real testament to your professionalism and your care. Now, we're going to hear from those nominators who placed their genetic counselor's hat in the ring for the Heart of Genetic Counseling Award.
I nominated Lindsay Byrne from the Ohio State Medical Center because of her professionalism, thoroughness, and compassion. My wife Gail and I are grateful for her excellent guidance in assisting my GU oncology medical team in determining a successful treatment regimen. Thank you, Lindsay.
I nominated Katie Grand because she is a fabulous representation of what a genetic counselor should be. Katie's commitment to patients and their families is paramount. We have been privileged to have her expertise in the world of rare genetic syndromes, and she's a sweetheart as well. Thank you, Katie, from the bottom of our hearts. Your passion for science, for learning about this particular rare syndrome, and your friendship has meant the world to us.
I am so grateful
to Samantha because she guided us through some very important decision making around testing. I'm also grateful because of all the research we have on Logan's case, we're able to share it with the world. And Samantha, even though I'm not even a patient of hers anymore, continues to do that on a regular basis. For a grieving mother, it is the only thing that gives me comfort in knowing that what we went through wasn't for nothing.
Monisha has been more than just a genetic counselor to my daughter Callie and actually to our whole family. Monisha has been a friend and a family member to us. Monisha has shown true concern and care for our daughter Callie. We have come to love Monisha, and we think Monisha is special and everything that a genetic counselor should be.
I'm grateful for Amy because my results led me to choose the right surgery plan, and she has helped many of my family members obtain genetic testing, including a joyful negative result for my teenage daughter.
I could go on forever on why Allison deserves this, but to keep it short and sweet, she is a literal ray of sunshine. Diagnosis time is one of the hardest times a family can go through, and looking back at ours, she was a constant source of positive energy and worked so hard to get Blaze the treatment that he needed quickly, and we are just so thankful she was a part of our journey. I think that often genetic counselors do not get the credit they deserve, and I'm so thankful that she has the opportunity to be recognized.
I am so grateful for Katie because she goes above and beyond every time, and her passion for what she does and to support those she interacts with is just unmatchable. And I'm so grateful that she has crossed my path.
I nominated Vicki Vincent because she was there for me when no one else was. She supported me through 14 pregnancies, of which were 7 live births, and 4 survived from those. Regardless of where I lived in the state, Vicki was there to coordinate testing, deliver results with the utmost compassion, and console me or celebrate with me, depending on the results. She wasn't just my genetic counselor, but a close friend that went above and beyond to support me.
I nominated Nancy Petroselli because she's an exceptional genetic counselor who truly cares about her patients. I'm grateful for Nancy because the counseling and guidance that she provided to me more than 2 decades ago has impacted the trajectory of my health and my life in a very positive way that otherwise would not have been possible without genetic counseling.
I am truly grateful for Chim May because not only did she shed light and answers on my son's medical condition, but she shed light on this medical condition to all of my siblings and their children because it is an inherited condition. This knowledge from Chim May is saving and prolonging lives in my family. So thank you. Thank you, Chim May, for your knowledge, your dedication to this work, compassion, and most of all, thank you for your friendship.
I'm grateful for Julianne because of the support she has given to me and my family and the hope she's given all of us for the future.
I nominated Leah Zaretsky because of her exemplary patience, kindness, and competence. She has gone above and beyond with her wisdom and her guidance to help me and my family. I am grateful for Leah Zaretsky because she has opened up our world to the possibilities of healing and longevity through early screening and treatments.
I'm nominating Rachel Manukian for this award. Rachel has been an integral part of my care team for the past few years. She's an advocate, a support system, and just an incredible resource. And it's a real privilege and an honor to be able to nominate her, and I hope that everyone has someone like Rachel on their team.
We nominated Miriam Bunch because she was there for us in the hardest time of our lives. We're grateful for Miriam Bunch because she continues to be such an important part of Eleanor's diagnostic team.
What a moving tribute. We are so grateful to the patients who shared their sentiments and appreciation. Now, we are all in for something very special. It is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Derek Tennant. Derek made the most of a tragedy by creating a career opportunity. As a promising young athlete, Derek suffered an injury that left him in a coma. After brain surgery, years of rehab, and life in a wheelchair, he ultimately got on his feet again. Despite his very limited use of his left side, Derek loves life and looks on the right side of things. He worked hard to overcome physical challenges and now works just as hard to help others overcome trials through his comedy and inspirational speaking. Please help me welcome Derek Tennant.
Thank you. You know, Mark Twain once said, "I wonder how much it would cost to purchase a soap bubble if there was only one in the world." Mark Twain was weird. But I love the way he thought, man. Think about that. What if there was one soap bubble ever in history, right? It would be in the Smithsonian behind like 8 inches of glass. You could buy a t-shirt that says, "I saw the soap bubble." You know, you turn on the TV, it's the Bachelorette soap bubble edition. You know what I mean? Can you guys get your head around how valuable that would be if there was only one? Are you with me? Well, it's silly, right? We all know there's trillions and trillions of soap bubbles, right? But friends, there's only one you. And there's only one of every one of those beautiful people that made that video. And every one of your patients. And that book. It's just... I don't know what just happened. That was... Right at the dramatic pause, too. That was so cool. The point is, friends, value cannot be placed on a life. And I knew nothing about genetic counselors before I got this gig, you know, and this is a gig for me, and I do forensic files research on who I'm going to speak with. And first of all, let me just say thank you for letting me be in this room with you guys, because what you're doing, man, it's changing lives, right? Don't forget that. Let yourself absorb that and be proud of that and know that you're a hero. That's awesome. And I'm just happy. I never, you know, the letters, from what I Googled, CGC, and I don't know what that stands for. I'm guessing certified genetic counselor, maybe? Is that right? Okay. So I'm excited to be with a bunch of CGCs tonight. Awesome. I'd never used those 3 letters together until I discovered you guys. So thank you for letting me be here. I'm really just honored to learn about what you guys are doing and, you know, the sort of unsung nature of it. Don't let yourself forget that. That's awesome. I'm honored to get to know you. And you heard my name is Derek Tennant. And friends, I only have 7 shirts. All right, that took a long time, Tennessee. Half of you are like, I wonder what the other ones say. The people down front are like, when did Michael Keaton hurt his leg? Right? Yeah, I'm not Batman. But I did walk funny. You heard a little bit of my story in the introduction, but my left side's paralyzed, friends. But I got a great life. I love my life. I get a lot of advice, which cracks me up. People are like, you should look on the bright side. Really? I look on the right side. I'll say look, you say on the right side. Ready? Look. That's right. See, you guys can do this too. For me, I still can't use my left arm. But friends, I lived in a wheelchair for a long time, and I'm not in a wheelchair anymore. That's pretty cool, right? Oh, yeah, thank you. That's cool. Thank you. I'm actually glad you're clapping. Yeah, because I can't. Really? Do we want that? I could do that the whole time. I mean, think about it. If I was the Karate Kid, I only got to wax on. I was in Alaska 2 weeks ago. I love Alaska, right? I caught a fish. It was this big. So as you can see, there's advantages. You just have to look on the right side. We go dancing, you do the YMCA, and all I got is LOL. All right, I'm glad you guys are lightening up a little bit, because if I was going to be totally transparent with you, sometimes I feel left out. No? But I'm all right. It's not going to stop. Sorry, it's not going to stop, man. Yeah, every one of us can look on the right side. And you guys have chosen a career. That's what's beautiful about what you're doing. You chose to do this, right? And you're changing lives, and I love that. And it's and again, from what I can tell, it's a very unsung sort of hero thing. And you guys, I'm just, again, happy to be in your room. Don't let yourself forget that. That's a big deal, right? And you're looking on the right side. You're helping people to look on the right side that don't have an opportunity to do that or don't have the knowledge that you guys are giving them. That's huge. Do not let yourself forget that, man. And humor is a big part of that, right? You know, I mean, I love my life. I travel all over the world. I can't use my left arm, but I can park anywhere I want. Except apparently in Tennessee, man. Does anybody in this place not have a blue sticker? Seriously. That's okay. I'm looking on the right side. Let's say it again. Ready? Look. That's right, look on the right side. I do comedy on cruise ships. Think about that for a gig, right? I do comedy on cruise ships. It's kind of cool. The last one I did, there was a storm a week before, so the boat's like rocking back and forth. I was the only guy on the whole ship that was walking perfectly straight. And the other comedian comes to my room just to hang out, and I get a handicap room. Well, actually, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. They don't call it that anymore. They changed. That's not politically correct, right? Whatever. It's now called accessible. Like I'm the only guy on the boat that can get in my room, apparently. I don't know what that means. It just means my room's twice as big as yours, right? I can play racquetball in the bathroom in my cruise ship room, right? And this comic looks at my room, he's like, dude, you get this whole room for free? I said, nah, man, it cost me an arm and a leg. I told you it wasn't going to stop, man. But it's cool. You got to look on the right side. This is what I try to do. And there's always a right side, right? Like one of my best friends is blind, and I'm going to be transparent with you. I don't know if I would be a motivational speaker if I was blind. I don't think that I could handle that. I really don't. And this guy is so positive. I love this dude. And you might know, you guys probably do know, but when someone's blind, what happens to their hearing? Right? It goes up. Our bodies can adjust, right, and adapt. If you can't see the train, you better hear the train, that kind of thing, right? And it's the same for you and me, but you don't know until you get into a situation. Like you guys probably didn't know before tonight that when you're paralyzed on your left side, we can read minds. Like I can tell you don't believe me. I'll tell you what, clap if I read your mind before we got started tonight. Clap right now. Okay. So I went around and I did it. But I can tell you're still skeptical. Clap if you want me to prove it right now up here. I knew that. So what I did is I made some predictions before you guys got up here, and I put them in this little red envelope. And I'm just going to read some minds. You can stay in your seat. Doesn't hurt, as far as I know. Let's start right over here. The gentleman right here. Just wave at me, friend. No, don't look around. Okay, I'm going to read your mind, all right? And just so everybody knows, because this is going to blow people away, but just so they know, we didn't get together and rehearse or plan anything, right? No, we've never met. Awesome. Okay, so first of all, what's your name? Myron. That's correct. I know, right? It's crazy. But Myron, there's people in here that still don't believe. They're skeptical, and I get that. So we'll move on. I got some predictions in the envelope here. Let's go right in the middle. Okay, right here in the front, right here. Young lady, just wave at me. Yep, Here's what I want you to do. Think of a number between 1 and 1,000. Any number. Don't say it out loud. Do you have a number in your head? Do you want to keep it or change it? You want to keep it? Okay, awesome. I made a prediction like 2 hours ago, and I put it right here. I can't change it. Friend, all I need you to do is be totally honest, right? Okay, so look right at me. The number that you're thinking of right now, yes or no? 819, yes or no? No? Oh, man. I'm sorry. No, but I made a prediction like 3 hours ago, and I put it right here. Come on, I was right on. My favorite part of that is you are awesome. She was like, no, that was it. She felt so bad. You're beautiful. That is awesome. She just wanted me to feel better. That's so cool. That's never happened. That's awesome. So now 40% of you are like, that dude can read minds. Some of you are still skeptical. I get that. So let's go on. We'll go over on the other side, okay. So right over here in the white kind of, okay, so I'm going to read your mind. Here's what I want you to do, friend. Think of somebody famous, But when I say famous, everybody in this room, it doesn't matter how old they are, would know who you were talking about, right? Like your favorite actor, but somebody big time famous. Do you have someone in your mind right now? Yes? Are you with me? Okay, cool. Because I have a photograph of the person she's about to say in the same envelope. All right, my friend, nice and loud for the first time. Who is your famous person? Joe Biden, okay? So we've never met, and since like 3 hours ago, there's been a photograph of Joe Biden right here when he was 3 months old. I know, it's crazy. Now we're up to like 60%, or oh my gosh, that dude can read minds. Some of you are still skeptical, and I get that. That's okay. Because you know what you just thought. You're like, whatever, man. What if she said Denzel, right? Huh? Jackie Chan got it covered, man. Don't worry about it. Oh, don't encourage that, man. So you got to be positive. You got to look on the right side. And every one of us can do this. And you guys know this. I'm preaching to the choir because you do this every day, right? And it doesn't mean that your life is going to be easy, right? Like, I'm not young anymore, but I'm still single, and that's not easy. It's not the funny part. I don't have a wife, but I do have a better half, so. I don't understand women, and in this room I can say that. This is, by the way, the men in this room are geniuses. If I was going to go back to school, I know exactly what I would do right now. That is awesome. But single women all say the same thing, right? They're just like, I can't find Mr. Right. Really? Like, how hard is this? And then I finally met a girl. Don't get excited. No, because I met her on Tinder. No, think about it. If I can do anything, I can swipe right. I like everybody. And eventually you meet in person. I was going to meet this girl for the first time. I'm excited, right? I go to her house. I knock on the door. She's like, "Hi, are you Derek?" I said, "Yes, I am." She goes, "Can you walk my dog?" All right, I'm sorry, ladies. That doesn't make sense, right? That can't be the second question, right? The second question is like, where are you from? How long have you lived here? How did you find lastresort.com? Something. But she was cute, so I said, "Yeah, I'll walk your dog." And then it gets worse. It was a Chihuahua. I know, right? Like, I don't know if I told you, but I grew up in New York. I don't live there now. Like, now everything. Oh, really? Rock on. So now everything. I told you about the shirts, right? I literally only have 7 shirts. Like, everything I own in my life fits into a suitcase. I don't have a house. I don't have an apartment. I travel full time. My motto is live simply, love wastefully, and that's what I try to do. And I get a lot of questions. People are like, "What do you do when you go somewhere cold?" Why would I go anywhere cold? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But there's some things that I didn't think through when this is 2017 is when I started doing this, like on the road full time, no house or anything. For example, this is my only pair of pants, and that can get a little awkward at the laundromat, right? Oh, no. Now half of you are like, I wonder if his underwear says that too, right? No, that's ridiculous. My underwear says October, November, December. I'm just serious. So anyway, I met this girl, and she wants me to walk her dog. It's a Chihuahua. And like in New York, dudes don't walk Chihuahuas. That's just a thing. It's not like written down, but we just don't, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? But I said I would, so I'm stuck. And I run into my buddy, and he's walking his German Shepherd. And he's like, "Nice dog, Derek." What am I going to do? And I'm like, I got this. He's got the little bow and everything. He goes, "Hey, man, let's grab a drink." I said, "Yeah, let me get rid of this dog. I'll be right back, right?" These are the people I hang out with. He says, "Nah, man, I do this all the time." I'm like, what are you talking about? He's got a German Shepherd on a leash, friends, and he just throws on a pair of sunglasses. You think I'm kidding. He goes into this bar, an Irish pub with the German Shepherd sunglasses. They think he's blind, right? He orders a Bud Light. They give it to him for free. I had no idea. Blind people get free alcohol. That's awesome, right? So I'm outside with Taco Bell, and I'm like, no way. Like, let me get a Jack and Coke. "Sir, we don't serve people with animals." It's like, dude, it's my seeing eye dog. "Really? A Chihuahua is a seeing eye dog?" So I said, "What?" They gave me a chihuahua? That's called looking on the right side. You see how that works? Let's say it again. Ready? Look. And again, I know that you guys are doing this, and that's what I want to celebrate tonight. You know, I'm so honored just to be a part of what's happening tonight, and I want to thank you guys for letting me be here. You are superheroes. Do not forget that. And everybody, you're supposed to say, no, I'm not a hero, but whatever. You are. And I know you're supposed to say that, but you guys are heroes. I mean, you're changing lives, right? You're helping people to get something they didn't have knowledge and awareness and abilities that they didn't have before. That's huge. Don't forget that. And you have superpowers. I'm not going to teach you how to be a superhero because you already have superpowers. What I want to encourage you tonight to do is remember that you have these superpowers, because it's hard sometimes in these crazy times, right, with the COVID and all the craziness, to remember that you have these powers. I want to encourage you, flex these superpowers because they're changing lives. The first one is to chase the impossible. Okay, I'm a motivational speaker. Okay, I'll just tell you, I'm supposed to come on the stage and say, you can do anything you put your mind to, right? No, you can't. That's stupid. That's what every speaker says. But you can't do anything you put your mind to, right? I could put my mind to flying around this room right now. It's not going to happen, right? I could really practice. I could put my mind, I could pray about it, whatever. It's never going to happen. Friends, there's things in your life, there's things in my life, there's things in your patients' lives that are impossible. But guess what? That's okay. They are not a mistake. And there's nobody like them. And here's what we can do. We can not every kid in the school, right, can be the fastest. Not every kid in the school can be the smartest. But every kid on the planet can be faster and smarter, right? We can always improve. And that's what I encourage people. We can use the impossible. Chase the impossible. Use it. I had an opportunity to play basketball after I got hurt overseas. I played in the Philippines. I played in Mexico after that. It's a long story. I'll tell you later if you're interested. But like legit, like not like a special league or anything, but real basketball. You guys are looking at me like you're white, short, and handicapped. I know. I used my obstacles as opportunities, right? And one thing that was impossible for me was tying my shoes, right? So I'm playing professional basketball, and I can't tie my shoes, and that was embarrassing. And I used to ask my coach before the game in the locker room to tie my shoes so nobody saw. But after about 6 months, I would ask him on the court to tie my shoes, and people saw him tying my shoes. And I can't tell you the way that people were impacted by that and the things that people came up and told me that did for them, just because I had things that are impossible, and I got okay with it, and I used it as motivation. Friends, your patients have things in their lives that are impossible, but that's okay. They are not a mistake, and we can all get better. And here's the cool part. When you use this superpower that you already have, don't forget that you have this superpower. Chase the impossible. Sometimes, I'm not going to tell you you can do anything you put your mind to. That's crazy. But sometimes the things that are supposed to be impossible do become what? Possible, right? Check this out. Don't you wish you sat in the front now? Oh, there you go. Oh, man, I'm doing all... I don't know what kind of booby traps are set up here. That's funny, man. And just for you guys, for my CGC friends, double knot. How about that? Ready? That's the only thing they're going to remember about me. Like, who was your speaker? I don't know, but he tied his shoe with one hand. And I just think it's awesome that only me and kindergartners get applause when we tie our shoes. Isn't that awesome? I just love that, man. Friends, there's things that are impossible. That's okay. Do not forget that. That's okay. There's a lot of things that are impossible. That's okay. Try to use these things as motivation and chase the impossible. Your second superpower is to give generously. You guys are already doing this. This is what you chose to do for a career. That tells me already your heart is amazing. That's why you felt bad when I got the number wrong. Right? That was awesome, right? I'm writing a book right now. It's called Selfish Generosity. If you understand the power of generosity, friends, it changes everything. It gives you joy. It gives the recipient joy, and it can give the world joy. And you can do it any minute of any day. Think about the most generous person you've ever met in your life right now. Think about him. There's no way I could know who you're thinking about, but I would bet my car that that person is happy. That's not Derekology, man. That's just truth. When you give generously, it gives you joy. And you can do it any minute of any day. Isn't that beautiful? So I try to do this, and I try to be around people that do this. I'm one of 4 kids. This is, sorry, so I'll tell you the story. My family, I'm one of 4 kids. My sister has 4 kids. She lives in Atlanta. And a couple times a year, I go down to Atlanta with her and her kids. I drive up to New York to visit my parents because her husband's got to work. The plane tickets are crazy expensive. Uncle Derek doesn't have a job, whatever, you know. And they love cereal. So we're doing this one time. And my sister's like Mary Poppins, right? She's like, you know, Pinterest, all that stuff. And she says, let's have a cereal picnic. And the kids start waking up in their pajamas and they want cereal. And so my sister says, let's have a cereal picnic. I'm like, cereal picnic. And I get off the exit. The only thing there is a Dollar General, right? And it's not one of the good ones. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you'd drive an extra 10 minutes just to get to the clean one, right? You know? And the kids want Fruity Pebbles, but they don't have it. They have something called Fruity Bites. That's the name of the cereal. It sounds like something you get in the Amazon, right? I got the Fruity Bites. So we're eating Fruity Bites in our pajamas. This is at Dollar General in Virginia, right? That's my nephew, Charlie. This is my niece, Kelly. Now, before you call Child Protective Services, look at the smile on her face, man. We're having a blast. Here's me, right? My cereal at this point is on top of a trash can. But we're having a blast. And here's what I didn't know. You can see in this picture, there's a red minivan that pulls up. This van pulls up, and this lady gets out of this van, and this literally changed my life. This sweet woman, I'm going to guess 75 years old, right? She walks up to the front of that Dollar General, and what she did, man, it changed me. Yeah. She gave us money. No, think of what an angel this woman is, right? She puts money in my sister's hand. And she says 3 things. She says, it's okay. I'm your friend. My name's Alice. And I think it honors this woman if we say those things together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's okay. I'm your friend. My name's Alice. I just love that because she does this, and she put this money in my sister's hand, and I promise you my sister has more money than her, right? But she chose to give generously. And my sweet sister's like, oh, sweetie, you know, we're having a cereal picnic. You know, now she thinks we're poor and crazy. And she just keeps saying the same thing. It's okay, I'm your friend. So I'm the big brother. I got to fix this, right? So I go over to tell her, you know, you're awesome. And I get within 5 feet, and milk is still pouring out of my nose, right, at this point, right? Because we can't stop laughing. So needless to say, we kept the money. But why do I tell you this? Listen, friends. When you choose to give generously, it gives you joy. It's selfish. It really, in a good way, there's selfishness and the generosity, and it's beautiful. It gives the recipient joy, and it can give the world joy. Do you think that it made Alice happy to help this homeless family? I promise she still remembers it. You think it made us happy? For 300 miles, we're in tears, like, how are we going to put this on Facebook? You know, and then it gives the world joy, man. I'm not exaggerating. I've told this story with these pictures to tens of thousands of people literally around the globe. Why? Because sweet Alice chose to give generously. And everyone, I've told, tens of thousands of people have felt the joy that you feel right now. Isn't that amazing? When you choose to give generously, you have no idea. And you guys have chosen this as a career. That's awesome. Give generously. It's a big, big superpower. Oops, wrong way. Sorry. Choose love. You know, love is a word we throw around a lot, you know, and, you know, love, and, you know, in church you hear it, in school, psychology, whatever. Love, my definition would be putting someone else's needs in front of your own. That's what I try to do, friends. When you choose love, it changes everything, right? And it's hard to do. And you guys, again, you're doing this as a career. So I try to surround myself with people that do this naturally, right? And my sister, I told you about my sister, Christy. I've got another sister. She's one of these people. And you guys know someone like this. It's hard to be a sibling to somebody like this because she's beautiful, right? She's funny. She's successful. She owns a business. She lights up a room. Like, everybody knows my sister, right? Like, I get a big head. You know, I travel around the world. I get a big head, and I'm like, I think I'm awesome. And then I meet somebody, and they're like, oh, that's Julie's brother. But it's okay because Julie is that awesome. And she has taught me so much about this superpower, friends. She's not here, but I want to introduce you to my awesome sister, Julie.
Hi, my name is Julie Tennant. Hey, I'm Julie Tennant. Hi, I'm Julie Tennant. Now back to you, Carrie. I'm the kiddo around the family. I'm Julie Tennant, and I have Down syndrome, and I love my life. Down syndrome means I have an extra chromosome that nobody in my family has. My grandfather calls it a love chromosome. He said that when people make fun of me, it's because they are missing something, not me. God made me this way, and I know He loves me. I like having Down syndrome because it makes me different, and I like being unique. Down syndrome means slow to learn, and that's not bad as long as you are learning something. My dad is slow to learn at cooking, so he just orders pizza. I'd rather be slow to learn than slow to love.
Learn
All
and
right.
slow to
I'm
love.
Julie.
Isn't that beautiful?
Wait a minute.
What's your name?
I'm Derek's sister, Julie Tennant.
No. I'm just Julie Tennant. Well, you're Julie Tennant.
I'm Julie Tennant.
And I'm her brother Derek, and we
Love our life.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. We're both handicapped, and I have Down syndrome. He's paralyzed, and we're both single.
Wait a minute.
I had the love chromosome, and he doesn't.
Nobody has taught me more about loving my life than Julie. Tell them in the camera about your shirt.
Oh, that's easy. The statement I like to say is I love my life. So I thought I would make a shirt. It says I love my life with stick figures with a ball.
That's my awesome sister, Julie, man. Try to. You guys know this. Science will tell you that Julie has an extra chromosome, right? My grandfather says she doesn't. You and me are missing it. And it's the love chromosome. You've had some time to spend with these angels, man. We are so blessed to be able to connect with someone like Julie. And this isn't part of what I was going to talk about, but we were just on the road together. We travel all over the world. We just were in LA. And I said, Julie, let's get some pizza. I said, what's your favorite pizza? This is literally a true story. What's your favorite? She goes, sausage. And then she goes, well, unless mom's there, then it's mushrooms. You know why? Because my mom likes mushrooms. So she didn't say mom's favorite is mushrooms. She said, my favorite is sausage unless mom's there. Then it's mushroom. Think about that. Do you see that? Julie loves, man. She chooses to love. She's born with that organic ability, with that extra chromosome that you and I are missing. You know, she has 47 of something you and I have 46 of. People call that a disability. I call it an upgrade, man. Choose love. This is our buddy Eric. He also has the love chromosome, and I want you to learn from Eric and learn from Julie, okay? Eric, in this room, I can tell you this. Eric is what we call a player. If he was here right now, he'd go up to any one of you ladies and be like, hey, baby. And be honest, what would you do? You'd be like, oh, that's so cute, right? Yeah, whatever. That's not fair because I do that, and you're like, creeper. And Julie, my awesome sister, wants nothing to do with dating. She's like, that's gross, which I love. My dad loves that. My brother, she's just like, it's not her thing. She's like, I got my puppy. I don't need, she doesn't want to date. And it's awesome. But she loves Eric, right? And we're at dinner one night. It's just the two families. And Eric goes around the table, and he goes over to my sister. He gets down on one knee, and he grabs her hand, and he kisses her hand. And he says, marry me. And my dad goes, time out. My flawless sister looks at me. She looks down at Eric, and she says, how about a high five? But here's the lesson, friends. Learn from Julie, okay? Life gave her a situation she wanted nothing to do with. And she's like, I want to give him something, because love is never the wrong answer. You're going to have situations where you don't want to be in there. Love is never the wrong answer. But learn from Eric, too, because he was down on one knee. And men, can you imagine? He just got rejected, right? And this is what Eric does. He goes, all right. And then and then we got ice cream, because sometimes life isn't as bad as we think it is. We just need to high five and get some ice cream. Can I get an amen for that? You guys are awesome. Listen, I'm not a preacher. I don't have a cool way to help you remember the superpowers that you have, but remember, you can chase the impossible. You can give generously, and you can choose love. I don't have a cool way to help you remember that. You're going to have to come up with something on your own. You guys are awesome.
Wow, that's a hard act to follow. That was fabulous. Derek, thank you so much from all of us for that incredible inspirational talk. Really appreciate that. And please give our thanks to Julie, too. We really appreciate it. Okay. That would be fabulous. Okay, this is wonderful. Now, back to the business at hand. Among the esteemed group of genetic counselors nominated, our judging committee selected 3 finalists. The finalists are Monisha Sebastian, Vicki Vincent, and Julianne Wajak. Next, we will be joined by the person who nominated each to read their nomination essay. First, it's my pleasure to introduce Julie Leeds, who nominated Monisha Sebastian. Please help me welcome Julie.
Monisha. We must all really love Monisha because the news that she gave our daughter was not the news that anyone would want to receive, but we love Monisha in spite of that. My daughter Callie is 23 years old, and she has been somewhat of a medical mystery. Over the years, Callie has experienced failure to thrive, failure to grow, mysterious periodic fever syndrome, constant coughing, and trouble breathing. Physical workups revealed elevated liver enzymes and malformed kidneys, but we bounced from specialist to specialist without a diagnosis. At one point, Callie's pulmonologist told us that he wished he could focus on her full time because she needed her own Gregory House. I don't know if anybody ever watched the physician on the TV show House, but that's what he said we needed, but he didn't have enough time to give that to Callie. Callie was convinced that her symptoms were due to a genetic condition. She had been on a pre-med path in college, she played soccer in college, and she kept pushing her physicians to do a full exon sequencing. Her doctors generally ignored her, but after some confusing results, a whole exome sequencing was ordered at Montefiore. Monisha? Callie's suspicions were correct. She had Fanconi anemia, a rare genetic disease that affects the bone marrow. Now, I may say some of this wrong, but I'm sure you all know what I mean. While Callie had had genetic testing to screen for this disease over the past, one of the genes associated with this condition was deleted, an incredibly rare occurrence. As a result, it hadn't shown up during screening. We met Monisha in December of 2020 during a consult with Dr. Robert Marion, MD, Chief of Pediatric Genetics at Montefiore. There were a lot of physicians in the room that day to meet Callie. It was somewhat overwhelming to all of us. But Monisha stood out to us. She was warm, and she truly listened to Callie, which is what Callie needed more than anything, was for somebody to listen to her and to validate her feelings. And let me tell you, Callie could talk. It was clear to both of us that Monisha was determined to do everything in her power to help Callie. When we told Monisha that Callie was throwing up 3 times a day, she got us immediately to Montefiore's GI specialist and checked in when we were at the appointment. She literally called the doctor's office to make sure Callie was okay. When Callie was diagnosed with COVID-19 in January of 2021, I was a wreck. I called and emailed and sent texts to every single one of Callie's doctors at 7 a.m. in the morning, including Monisha. Monisha was the first to call me, and she went into action immediately. And I had great relationships with all of Callie's doctors. But Monisha at 7 a.m. called me from the train station, literally, just to make sure Callie was okay. At that time, Callie had to stay isolated in the house due to her immune system, as she was waiting to begin her IgG infusions. Due to Caroline's lifelong pulmonary issues, we knew that getting COVID-19 for her would be very dangerous. Out of extreme concern, Monisha started making plans immediately. By 8 a.m., Callie and I were en route to Montefiore to get the monoclonal antibody treatment. Monisha had everything under control. All of this was done while Monisha was on a train station in New York, headed to work. If this doesn't show commitment and dedication, I'm not sure what does. None of this would have been possible for Callie to get the treatment she received so quickly without Monisha. We had so many doctors and nobody called me. I think our first doctor called us at like 11 o'clock. As a parent of an immune-compromised child, I was beyond frightened when Callie got COVID. As a parent, all we ever want to do is to make sure that our children are safe. But when that job slips out of your control, you are left as a parent feeling hopeless. I believe in my heart of hearts that Monisha saved Callie's life. Regardless of how busy Monisha is, she always takes the time to check in every couple of months on Callie. Right now, Callie is unfortunately in purgatory, as she says. Her disease isn't advanced enough to require a bone marrow transplant, which is treatment that is often done to improve the quality of life for patients with Fanconi anemia. I hope that's right, Monisha. Really, I do. But she's also now well enough to go back to college or to spend time out in the community. Monisha has connected Callie to other people living with this condition, as well as family therapists familiar with Fanconi anemia that she can talk to. She also lets Callie know if she hears about any developments in the treatment of Fanconi anemia, like new clinical trials. Monisha has shown kindness and concern for Callie, as if she were her own daughter, whether it's taking time to explain every single detail to Callie of her illness and making sure that Callie's emotionally okay. Emotionally okay is a big task, trust me. I've seen many doctors throughout my daughter's medical journey. However, Monisha truly takes the time to show that she cares. When you speak to Monisha, you can tell just by looking into her eyes how much she really cares. Although there are many genetic counselors out there, Monisha stands out to us because she has a heart. Our family is forever grateful to Monisha for all she has done for us. Thank you, Monisha.
Thank you so much for that amazing and inspiring story. We really appreciate you being here. Next, our next finalist is Vicki Vincent, who is nominated by Nashwa El-Kashari, who is unable to be with us tonight, but recorded a video of her essay.
Never Alone by Nashwa El-Kashari, nominating Victoria Vincent. I was led to Vicky because of tragedy. I lost my second son as a newborn in 2001. He died from surfactant protein B deficiency, an incredibly rare autosomal recessive lung disorder that causes most babies to die within the first few weeks of life. We spent 3 weeks in the NICU watching him fight for his life. While so much of that time is a blur, I remember well those haunting feelings of disbelief and despair. Vicky was the one who counseled us through the genetic testing that led us to discover that both my husband and I were carriers of this disorder. I was in shock, and it was so rare it only happens in about 1 in 1 million live births. While we knew that each future pregnancy meant a 1 in 4 risk of the baby inheriting this disease, we decided to try again. Our 3rd and 4th child were also born with surfactant protein B deficiency and died within 24 hours of birth. The pain I felt during this time of my life is so hard to explain. I was so shocked at the coldness of people in my community. Neighbors were accusatory, demanding to know why my babies kept dying. I didn't have the strength to explain to them that my husband and I were carriers of this deadly disorder. Instead, I withdrew. I found the emotional support I needed during this time from Vicki. She was always there for me to explain, listen, and console. Although she personally had never experienced this type of loss, she understood the grief I felt. Over the next decade, Vicki played an integral role in my family's life. We had decided to do a procedure called chronic venous sampling, or CVS, a prenatal test used to detect genetic diseases during pregnancy. It's usually done between the 10th and 13th week of pregnancy, where a small sample of cells are taken from the placenta to look for abnormalities. Through the years, 4 healthy babies were born. Although this disease is recessive, it affected half of my pregnancies. Vicki was there for everything during this period. She coordinated each CVS, and she would always be there. She would always be the one to break the news to me. She wouldn't let anyone else take on that role. At one point, we decided to try IVF, but although that did yield 1 healthy child, the cost and stress was overwhelming. Vicki helped me through that time as well. She was there through the celebrations and through the grief. No one other than my husband, Vicki, and my physicians knew what we were going through with each pregnancy. I didn't want to tell anyone because I was afraid of judgment. The only person I trusted to truly get it and not judge me was Vicki. She was always just a phone call away, and I knew I could count on her to deliver news, good or bad, in the most compassionate way. Although Vicki encouraged me to seek out counseling and support groups, I'm so introverted that I resisted. Vicki understood and made sure she gave me the time I needed to process my grief. Although she'd worked with another patient before who was a carrier of surfactant protein B deficiency, she shared stories about other women who found themselves in similar situations for other genetic conditions. It helped me realize that I wasn't alone. Today I have 4 healthy children, ages 11 to 22. After the birth of my last child, Vicki and I lost touch, and then unexpectedly she resurfaced. My 22-year-old son's fiance had decided to undergo genetic testing to make sure she wasn't a carrier of the genetic mutation that causes surfactant protein B deficiency. Although they were both overseas, somehow the genetic testing company sent Vicki a copy of the report. She called to give me the good news that my soon-to-be daughter-in-law was not a carrier. She and I shed happy tears over that. We had been through so much trauma together, and this time it was a relief to celebrate the positive. I said to her, "You've always been so much more than just my genetic counselor. You're one of my dearest friends." Through all the despair and loss, Vicki was the one person who was always there for me, even when others turned away, and I am forever quite grateful to her.
Thank you for that amazing, very touching tribute, and our individualized care, which we all are so in awe of. Last, I have the privilege of introducing Brianne Riley, who nominated Julianne Wojak.
Oh my gosh, these stories are so moving. It's gonna be hard to tell my own, but I'll do my best. I was pregnant with my second child when I found out that my father, a heart transplant survivor, and my sister both had a life-threatening genetic mutation called LMNA, which almost always causes cardiomyopathy and sometimes other more serious conditions, such as sudden cardiac arrest or heart failure. Years before, when my father had his heart transplant, his doctors felt certain there was no genetic cause of his heart failure. Now I was learning I had a 50% chance of having the mutation, and that if I did, there was a 50% chance that my then 2-year-old daughter and my unborn son had it as well. I was petrified. During this scary time, I met Julianne. Initially, she guided me through my family history. We determined quickly that several people on my dad's side probably had the mutation. With cardiovascular diseases, some people just dismiss having multiple family members with heart issues as bad luck. She explained the genetic testing process and was very candid about its pros and cons. Her knowledge went far beyond the medical side of testing and included the logistical, ethical, and long-term social sides. I'm a lawyer by training, and I had concerns about privacy implications for me as well as my children. For example, it can be very difficult to get life insurance if you have a mutation like LMNA. Even with that possibility, I knew I would want us to receive the most aggressive monitoring and best care possible if we had the mutation, so I went forward with testing. Rather than let me worry about when I might receive the results, Julianne set up a day and time for us to speak when she was sure they would be available. It was a small yet thoughtful gesture that made the process easier for me. I don't remember everything about the conversation when she told me that I had the mutation, but I do remember the way she delivered the news left me feeling more hopeful than defeated. She gave me room to be really upset in the moment and then patiently answered my questions. She gave me a hopeful outlook on my prognosis, not just to make me feel better, it was also backed by science. She also helped me decide my path forward, which included setting up a cardiac evaluation and monitoring for me, our 2-year-old daughter, and our unborn son, both of whom had not yet been tested for the mutation. Thankfully, our heart functions were normal at that time. A few years later, we were ready to have our children, now 6 and 4, tested for the mutation. One of the reasons we decided to test them was we would be working again with Julianne and her team. I am thankful that she is the one who delivered the news that one of our children had the mutation. It was a terrible moment, but it was made better because Julianne was part of it. She gave us hope that more treatment options would be available in the future, if and when our child needs them. We also know now that with the help of reproduction technology, this mutation can stop with our children. Even after all of this, Julianne's biggest contribution to my own life was yet to come. Several years following my diagnosis, I routinely had my cardiac function monitored, always with normal results. Last year, that changed, so I was given an internal cardiac monitor. Less than a month later, as I was painting my son's room, I felt sort of weird. I sat down for a second and dismissed it as a reaction to the paint fumes, went on with my day. In fact, I had experienced an almost 5-second pause in my heart activity, which was picked up by my monitor. My doctor immediately scheduled me to receive an implantable cardioverter defibrillator, which could save my life one day. Had I not met Julianne when I did and felt so comfortable with her, I may have chosen to delay testing until I was middle age, had obvious symptoms, or felt sure it wouldn't hinder my ability to get life insurance. Without it, though, I would not have been closely monitored or had access to the medical devices that have been critical to my care. Julianne encouraged me to get the testing when I needed it, which may have truly saved my life. Thank you.
Wow, just thank you so much, and thank you so much for sharing your story. Congratulations, Monisha, Vicky, and Julianne. And thank you so much to Julie, Nashwa, and Brianne for sharing your incredible moving stories. These essays illustrate how generous genetic counselors go beyond the diagnosis, helping patients and families over time to make a difference. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. I'm honored to have the opportunity to announce our winner. The 2022 Heart of Genetic Counseling Award goes to Manisha Sadek. Manisha, can you and Julie come up, please? You can come up too, Randy. Come on. Okay. Thank you all. This was just absolutely wonderful. I'd like to congratulate all the nominees and thank all the essayists here with us tonight. We all leave tonight motivated and to continue our work, and thanks to Derek, too, for helping us do that and feel really good about ourselves. I think we all need to remember that we are superheroes. We have superpowers. There's nothing a genetic counselor can't do, okay? I know many of you look forward to the Heart of Genetic Counseling Award book every year. This year's commemorative book will be distributed as you leave. For those of you following virtually, the books will be available through your Invitae reps, so be on the lookout for them. If you would like copies of past year's books, we have some of those too. Thank you all for coming, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. And I would really hope that all of the nominees would just come up for a few minutes if they can, okay? Thank you very, very much. Thank you all for being here.